Hello and welcome to Not Another White Box, the channel that celebrates all that's cool, quirky and unusual in the caravan world. My name is Cameron and in today's video I'm counting down my top 5 new cool caravan designs for 2025. This year has been a very difficult year for the caravan industry in the UK, as sales have slowed down considerably for traditional touring caravans and, for the first time ever, more new motorhomes and campervans have been sold in the UK than touring caravans. As the market has been slow to react to these changes, unfortunately, a large number of dealerships have been pushed out of business in 2024. Clearly, something needs to change, so with this in mind, I've carefully chosen 5 designs that I think could point the way to the future of the caravan industry, based on insights I've gleaned from caravanners on the Not Another White Box Facebook group. In 5th place, we have the GoPod Flex. I've chosen to feature this caravan because it's a design that tackles 2 demands on the caravan industry at once. Firstly, the issue of towability, and secondly, the demand for building better quality caravans that reference campervan design. The GoPod Flex interior is of fantastic quality, from the solid wood cupboard doors that will resist warping to the expensive looking Korean style worktops. Everything about it feels durable and built to last. Even the contemporary decorative wall coverings serve a dual purpose to add insulation and sound deadening. These are the kind of interior details that we see in expensive campervans and motorhomes, not in a compact caravan that costs £21,995. The compact dimensions of the GoPod will allow it to be stored in a conventional garage, in addition to making it very easy to tow with a very broad selection of cars.
This is built entirely to make it as towable, aerodynamic, lightweight and just easy to tow as possible. And as cars get smaller, as engines get smaller, as more and more people move towards EV ownership, this is the kind of thing that we're seeing a big surge in popularity. GoPod actually are produced in Portugal and the shell on the interior is built in a factory there. But the company that imports them to the UK have decided to do something completely different for the GoPod Flex model. They got the entire interior as it comes from the factory and have actually enlisted the design skills of a motorhome designer who perfectly measured the inside of this very complex body shell to design a completely new interior using a computer CAD design software, and the result is absolutely incredible. The interior is really high quality and it seamlessly fits into this very complex body shell.
In 4th place, we have the Swift Basecamp 3 or Basecamp 4. I've chosen to feature both models here because they are effectively the same caravan, just with a different front lounge area configuration. The reason that the Basecamp makes the list is because it still looks fresh, modern and cool, in addition to providing a sleek aerodynamic body shell that makes it easier and more economical to tow than a conventionally styled caravan. At just 1,186 kilograms fully laden, these models can be towed by most cars, and I've noticed that the Swift Basecamp is a very popular caravan of choice among the Caravanners with EVs Facebook group. There's a general perception that for some reason the Basecamp is an entry-level caravan, but at £25,495 it's not an entry-level price. The cost is somewhat justified with some of the standard specification, which includes useful fittings such as a roof-mounted solar panel, external shower point, gas barbecue point and the Swift Command touchscreen management system with smartphone integration. It's the combination of style, kit and practical design that makes this caravan popular today. For small families, this design works really well.
You've got loads of storage in all the lockers. You've got these brilliant large cupboards under here that just fit everything in perfectly. It works really well. Obviously the Basecamp is going for a little bit more of an outdoorsy caravan. We have these bags instead of lockers on this side in the Basecamp 4, and you can pop them in here and they zip down like so and you can access whatever's in here, but actually they lift out completely and you can take these bags home, load them at home, stick them in your car, bring them in the caravan, hang them up here. I think in principle, that's a really, really, really clever design idea. I'm not too sure if Basecamp owners actually use them for that purpose. I don't know. If you're a Basecamp owner, let me know in the comments. Do you love your removable cupboards? I just think it's a really good idea, particularly if you're a family using the Caravan and you're wanting to get away as quickly as possible without the kids getting agitated. You can pack all your stuff at home in these bags and just drop it straight in the Caravan without having to go through that process of unpacking. So I just want to mention them because it's very unique to the Swift Basecamp range, and I think it's a great idea. You may be familiar with this already. The Basecamp 3 is exactly the same inside as the Basecamp 4, except it has this folding bed at the front. This pulls forward to form a fixed bed, but again, we actually took a look at this on this channel when it first came out. So rather than make this video unnecessarily long by going through all the features again, because like I said, apart from this front bed, this Basecamp 3 is identical to the Basecamp 4. It's an interesting design, and this is exactly what a lot of Basecamp owners were asking for when the Basecamp 4 was launched. Because if you're a couple using the Caravan, it's nice to be able to leave the bed up and still have somewhere to sit and eat. So this kind of works really well. And I don't think Swift were quite aware when I first filmed this Caravan that this could be configured as a day bed. And I still think they're missing a trick by not giving this mattress a bit better of a covering so it looks a bit more like a sofa. Because actually, I prefer this to the 4 personally, because I think this is a more usable space for a couple. If you've got your TV up there, you can both sit on here like it's a sofa, and it's a really comfortable place to be because of the high back on it. It's just really cozy, and it makes the Caravan really, really usable. And obviously it forms that bed, and it still folds away just like the seats do in all the other Basecamp models.
Overall, the Barefoot Classic might be one of the more expensive offerings on the list, but when the general build quality of modern touring caravans is coming under fire on various online forums, it's great that there is a manufacturer out there who are committing to build a caravan that's going to last. The Barefoot Classic is definitely a caravan that you can buy and keep, made all the more enticing by the huge options list of specification, exterior colours and interior decor schemes. It can be your own perfect little home from home.
Starting with the outside, the Barefoot is one complete monocoque fiberglass shell, and so much work goes into producing those molds, and that is a really big factor in what the price point ends up being on an all fiberglass caravan. The upside is you get something that's truly curvaceous, very, very unique, and also pretty much leak proof. It's the same technology that they use when building boats, and they kind of have to keep the water out. But I love how they've used that here to not only give it strength but also give it style. From the huge curves front to back, it's almost like a little egg on wheels. I absolutely love it. And if you're not familiar with the Barefoot caravans, they are available with a multitude of options, and this particular soft green colour is one of their new offerings for 2024, and it's just very harmonious with nature, which is kind of what the Barefoot brand is all about. This caravan is designed to just be all that you need to gently cocoon yourself in a really cozy little space, but be at one with nature. And you don't need air conditioning units and massive flat screen TVs and all that tech. It's got everything that you need without all the nonsense on top that you don't. Instead, they've spent the money on the style, the quality, the build, which, I don't know about you, I think that's pretty important. So obviously the exterior shell is really, really interesting, but I want to dive into the interior because this is the Barefoot Classic. So they offer two specs, the Barefoot Classic and the Barefoot Forward. The Classic is the kind of more traditional style interior, and the Forward is the more sort of contemporary. And I'm not sure if I could pick a favourite out of the two of them. So let's just get on and have a tour of the inside of this fantastic little caravan. Straight away when I enter this caravan, I can't believe how soft and warm it is. From this kind of duck egg interior to the soft ivory coloured walls, and even the mood lighting in the cupboards.
It's very gentle. The shape of it is just giving you a little hug from the outside in. It's just lovely. I don't know what to compare the space to. It's almost like a cozy little den that you can sort of put yourself in, enjoy looking at the great outdoors, but it is a cozy place to be. I could just imagine being sat in this corner with a book and just observing the views outside and just feeling like I'm in this little cocoon. It's really, really nice in here. Obviously, the shape of the Caravan gives it some compromise in that the headroom obviously isn't consistent front to back, and it is quite short at the very extreme ends of the Caravan. But all Caravan design is a compromise somewhere along the line. The trade-off is you've got something that's very aerodynamic, it's very economical to tow, it's very easy to tow, and it just absolutely exudes style. Moving into the kitchen, and it's obviously quite a compact kitchen, which is just the nature of the Caravan because of the size of it, but it's really, really, really substantially made. These worktops feel like something you get in a really high quality home kitchen. This, like I said, is the Barefoot Classic spec, so we've got things like the wood effect worktops and the softer, more traditional interior, but it still squeezes in a 2-burner gas hob. And the gas bottle is located in the front locker on the A-frame. You've got this round sink with this very cute little chopping board cover that covers it over. You've got plenty of storage. You've got a drawer here. You've also got this large cupboard down below. And finally, we've got this compressor fridge, which is, again, exactly the kind of technology that we need to be seeing in caravans. These will run off grid from the leisure battery, and they'll run for quite a few days without charge because they just have very low power consumption. The trade-off is with a compressor fridge that they're a very expensive fitting, which is why we generally don't see them in mainstream British caravans. This Caravan retails for £36,500, and we're starting to see the details that add up to justify the price, from the quality of the materials used, obviously that one-piece monocoque body shell, which is famously resistant to water leaks, but also things like the more expensive compressor fridge. Just, you're starting to get a picture now that this isn't your typical, unusual, lightweight, not another white box type Caravan that generally are cheaper and not as well built as traditional white boxes. This is now entering into a league above what your average British Caravan is offering, and that is just quality in abundance. And if you can't tell, I'm quite impressed. It certainly doesn't just feel like an afterthought in here. They've really thought about the design. I love how the washroom sink is integral to the body moulding. There's no seam here at all. It's really, really unusual to see, and it just feels very cool, to be honest with you. It feels very ergonomic, and it's sort of well thought out that even when they're building the body shell, they're thinking about where the washroom sink is going to be placed. Campervan design meets caravan design with the Eriba Touring Legend 620, which takes second place on the list. It's a brilliant example of a time-honoured design that continues to find fans all over the world. I just love the bonkers approach that Eriba have taken with this design, though the addition of a pop-top bedroom does mean that the Eriba Touring 620 is the most expensive caravan on the list at £44,420. But like the Barefoot that we've just looked at, this is another caravan that's designed to be built to last, something that you could comfortably buy and keep, as opposed to needing to trade it in after a few years due to wear and tear and the design looking dated. So kudos to Eriba for making something that's not only built to last, but beautifully timeless too.
Eriba have been producing caravans for over half a century with their tried and tested legendary metal skeleton construction. And I think testament to this great design is that it hasn't fundamentally changed in over 60 years. And these continue to be one of the best-selling caravans in all of Europe. Of course, these aren't British. They are made in Germany, but the 620 Legend is the latest evolution of it, which takes the iconic Eriba pop top and develops it into an extra sleeping area. How cool is that? This is another example of caravan design meeting motorhome design, the two industries coming together to produce something that's different, progressive and unusual. And I can't wait to show you this because it's like nothing else that you'll see on the market at the moment. At the back end of the Eriba 620 Touring Legend, it seems pretty conventional as far as Eribas go, but the thing that I love about these is the level of finish. They are truly amazing quality caravans. They are really built to last. Eriba's philosophy is it's a caravan for life, not something you have to upgrade every few years because it's worn out. It's built to last, it's engineered to be durable. And this design, like I said, has been around for so long and it just continues to just gradually develop. But what you're buying now in 2025 is the latest version of over half a century of product development. And this layout, like I said, I've started at the conventional end. There's a few little Eriba quirks, like you get these detachable lamps that you can use as a torch and carry around the caravan, or they mount up here as little reading light. And there's just, it's the quality that I need to convey to you. It is amazingly well built, but even the materials used, this wonderful, this is part of the Legend color schemes, and it's just kind of got this copper effect to the worktops that even has a bit of a texture to it. It's really nice. But it's when we move to the front of the Eriba where things get a little bit more interesting, because we've got the little washroom in the middle, but we have this front end kitchen, and in the way of the cooker is this ladder, and that's because up here we've got the bed, and just by pulling one handle you can fold down the entire bed and climb up and sleep up here like you would in a camper van. You have to forgive me, it's not the easiest thing to film, but I just love this. Everybody seems to love a camper van, everyone's on the van life hype at the moment, and Eriba thought, why not put the two together? We already make a caravan that has a pop top, why not make it into a full sleeping area? This caravan is actually really spacious for 4 people, but in a compact body shell, and rather than just make the caravan longer and wider, they've decided to make it taller, which is a pretty novel approach to sleeping more people in a compact caravan. I just absolutely love the Eriba philosophy of let's build a van that's really high quality, durable and built to last. And again, consumer trends are saying that they are actually keeping their touring caravans for longer now. So this ethos that Eriba have been building into their design since the very first Eriba in the 1950s has really come home to roost in this day and age. I think we're kind of leaving the consumerist ideals behind of let's just get a new one on finance every few years, and people are actually sticking with their caravan for longer. And Eriba to me represent a brand that's really focusing on that, and of course that commands a higher price tag, but look at the value for money overall of what you would buy if you spent £30,000 on a caravan and kept it for 3 or 4 years before you had to upgrade because it was starting to wear out, and then spent another £35,000 on a caravan. This Eriba here is actually one of the most expensive models for the touring range, at just over £45,000 with its delivery charge included, but that of course is the flagship one with the pop top roof. Eribas actually start at around 25,000, which is still a modest amount of money for a caravan, and they are comparatively low spec compared to British vans, apart from this one of course, which has everything you could ever want on it. But I really applaud that whether you're at the bottom end of the Eriba scale or at the top end, they're all built the same, they're all amazingly high quality, and even the little finishing touches like the lockers and the grab rails and the stone guards at the front, every single thing about it is built to last. Even the checker plate A-frame cover, none of this plastic A-frame shrouding that we see that just flake off when the jockey wheel comes into contact with it when you're hitching up. This Eriba is through and through built to last, and I think that's the direction, fingers crossed, the caravan industry is heading in.
First place goes to the amazing all-new Capsule Mini. This one-piece fiberglass caravan is manufactured in Turkey, and the main importer to the UK is Leeds Caravan Centre. At £16,995, it's by far the cheapest caravan on the list, but there's way more to this tiny tourer than just the price.
Starting with the body shell, they are, as we've mentioned, one-piece fiberglass. So they are built exactly the same way as they build a boat. So I think that says a lot about their ability to keep water ingress out. At the front end here, you've got this absolutely massive gas locker that has a little retaining clip at the top there. You can fit 2 Cala gas bottles in here, or 2 camping gas bottles if you prefer, of the smallest size that they do. And there's plenty of space for storing all your extra accessories and things in there. Another thing that's been altered for the British market is originally these have an onboard water tank, but we've gone for a standard whale water inlet there, which runs from the 12-volt system inside. And a nice little quirk of the retro spec while we're passing are these hubcaps and white wall tires, which are absolutely so cool. I really love them. And finally at the back, it's one of the alterations we had to make to bring it over to Britain was the fitment of reflector triangles at the back, which are a legal requirement here. Got full UK compliant LED road lights, which are low energy. And this back panel, I think, kind of looks a little bit like a British Caravan, the way it's recessed slightly there. But yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. There's not too much to show you with the outside because they're very simple, very rugged. There's not tons of features to the outside. Optional extras include fitting a gas barbecue point, external power point, and a rollout canopy or an awning rail. So you can customize the capsule to suit your needs. But I think we've had a quick look at the outside. The inside is what you really want to see. So let's take a closer look. I just love how cozy these caravans are. They're deceptively large inside. They are only just a whisker under 10 foot long, but they are 6'3" internally and 6'6" externally. So they're actually of a conventional size despite their appearance, and that's evident here in the seating area at the front. There's plenty of room for 2 people. You can sit up at this end with your feet up like this, or you can either sit crossways like this, and it's just a nice cozy little nook to sit in. You've got an adjustable dining table, which regardless of what's on it, you can swivel around so you can get in and out, which I think is quite a clever idea. And this will lower down to make the bed, which will show you in another capsule. In the center of the Caravan, we've got this compact split kitchen. Now, bear in mind the capsule is designed as a very small step up from camping, so it is very simple. Over in the main kitchen area, we've got a small sink with cold running water, although hot water is an option, and just 1 gas burner. And we did try to fit 2 gas burners in, but it was too difficult with the size limitations. And actually, when I was doing some market research on various social media platforms, a lot of people who go camping who would typically buy a Capsule Mini reported that they weren't too bothered about the stove. They would typically carry a barbecue and cook on it all weekend, or some kind of electric grill setup, or even an air fryer. When I looked into what people who typically went tent camping were taking with them, people said they were just using the stove for heating water and not too much else. So the main thing for me was to have worktop space and power. So you've got a power point up here where you can plug a kettle in. You've also got a power point above on this side, so you can use this entire platform for putting whatever you like: microwave, air fryer, coffee machine, whatever. Plenty of space there to put it. And you've also got this shelf at the back, which you just got a lot of space for preparing food or putting appliances if that's what you prefer. But that's kind of the bare essentials. You've got a piezo ignition on it, and this runs from the gas at the front. And they've even thought to add a neat little worktop extension which goes on like so. So when you're drying up, you put your pots on there. And something I love about the capsules is these worktops are real wood. They've got a real texture, real wood grain. You don't have to worry about pots and things falling out of cupboards and putting dents in them, which make them impossible to repair or replace. These worktops will require a little bit of looking after, admittedly, but they are more ecological and they are tougher, stronger, more durable. And if in 5 years' time you decide you want to change them, you can of course just take them out, unscrew them from underneath and fit your own custom worktops. And that was something that I was quite insistent about with the Capsule, that it had a built-in longevity. So we've already got the fiberglass shell. The bulk of the furniture is part of that fiberglass shell. The kitchen units and the storage unit at the back are the only things in the Capsule that are built in separately. So that gives you leverage then. These drawer fronts are real wood as well. If in a few years' time you decide you've had enough and want to change it, you can paint these, you can replace them. They are all completely standard parts that you probably find more in B&Q than you would at the Caravan dealership. So it's bringing in some of that vintage Caravan, you know, some of the things that I like about having a vintage Caravan personally is that it's infinitely renewable and the parts are constantly available. And that's what the Capsule offers as well. It has that longevity. Despite the Capsule's minuscule size, it does squeeze in a washroom. Now, if you've been in something like a Freedom Jetstream or a smaller Eriba, you'll know that the washroom in a compact Caravan is always a bit of a size compromise, but not in a Capsule, because this washroom space is massive. It's got a full size shower area, and the shower pulls out of the tap like so. Let's put that back in. You've got a small wash basin, which is really cool. It's part of the fiberglass molding. There are no seams in this washroom at all. It's a complete one-piece unit. There's no cork anywhere. There's no joins in it anywhere. It is completely watertight. The only thing that's not is the door aperture, which is why it's got the shower curtain here, just to deflect the water back towards the floor. But we've squeezed in a premium Thetford porta potty. None of those tiny little ones that you get in lots of camper vans and things where you sit on them and your knees are up around your ears. This is a normal height Thetford porta potty with electric flush, so it's a very, very posh camping. But again, based on my market research, some people really wanted the loo in the Caravan. Some people valued the shower more, particularly people who are going to festivals and things. This gives you the flexibility. If you don't ever want to use the toilet in the Caravan, just take it out and leave it at home. You've got a great space in here. I'm going to show you quickly now in the olive green one. It is exactly the same as the orange one, the retro spec, in that it has the same wheels, same interior fittings, exactly. Just in true Blue Peter style, we've set the bed up earlier so I can show you. So the table drops down and forms the bed base, but the backs of the front seat cushions actually have wood built into them to make them even firmer. I would admit the bed is not the biggest in the world. It's 6'3" tall by 43 inches across, so not quite a standard double, but a similar size to the beds that you would find in a camper van, for example. So yeah, for reference, if I lay on this side of the bed, you can see it's not the biggest bed in the world. It's exactly the same dimensions as ones that you'll find in a camper van or something similar. So it works for two people. For one person, it's really generous and it's so easy to make up. I shouldn't be biased, but this is definitely my personal favourite. This interior, the green against the white and the beige warm fabrics with the scatter cushions with those hints of green in, it's such a relaxing, calming place to be. I think the retro one is fun, it's bright, it's cheerful, it's warm. This I feel is just so calming. Same with the grey one next door, and these colour schemes are interchangeable if you do a factory order. So you could have the grey exterior with the sage green interior if you order from the factory.
So that concludes my list of the top 5 coolest new caravans for 2025. Do you agree with my choices? Let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up and please do subscribe. Also check out NotAnotherWhiteBox on Instagram, Facebook and Threads. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.